What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and the Red Sox had to make a pretty big roster move today. They had to bring Michael Wacha back from the IL, and that's not the roster move that I want to talk about. But for those of you who don't know, once a player goes onto the IL, they're not considered on the 40-man roster. That's why you see so many replacements for injuries in the big leagues. And normally what happens with those injuries is that when a player goes out, a certain player will come up and replace him, and then when that player comes back from that injury, the same player will go back down to the minor leagues. That's not what happened in this case. In fact, the Red Sox made a huge decision when they brought Michael Wacha back, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the player that they decided to send down as opposed to sending down the player that replaced Michael Wacha. We're going to talk about what that means for that player and what that means for the Red Sox going forward. But before I get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on these videos as well. It is the best way to help this channel out, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. So what's the move that I'm talking about that would send shockwaves through the Red Sox system and make room for Michael Wacha on this big league club? Well, the move that I'm talking about is the Red Sox have decided to designate for assignment Ryan Braiser. Now, Ryan Braiser has had a little bit of a rough go of it this year. He has a 6.28 ERA over 14 innings, and that is the highest that he's had in his Red Sox career. Obviously, that is a smaller sample size than most of his Red Sox career, and granted that Red Sox relievers and relievers in general in the MLB tend to have their ERAs skewed from one big inning, but it wasn't just one big inning from Ryan Braiser. It was a couple big innings, especially these last couple of appearances. He had that appearance in Atlanta where he gives up the walk-off home run. He had the appearance in Texas where he gave up 2 home runs and 4 runs in 1 inning, and his latest appearance he let up another run as well. So Ryan Braiser right now just simply can't get big outs in big situations like we've seen in the past. This roster move could be huge for Ryan Braiser, whether he's in his head and just simply can't get out of it and get into the right headspace for big innings, or he has some genuinely mechanical issues going on. Either way, going down to Worcester for a month, 2 month, 3 month, whatever he ends up being down there for, because he will be back, could end up being a great thing for Ryan Braiser. It allows him to perfect his craft in a pretty stress-free environment, right? It doesn't entirely matter what the Worcester Red Sox record is, as long as guys are having individual performances. That's really what the focus of Worcester is, as opposed to winning ball games. And I really like Braiser. I think Braiser could be a big staple in this bullpen going forward if he figures out what's going on in Worcester. He was big in 2018. He had some great appearances in that World Series run, and last year when he came back from his neck injury, he was fantastic. When we were pushing towards the playoffs, when we were in the playoffs, he was great. So as much as I have been advocating that maybe we need to take a look for Ryan Braiser's status on this team, I also think that he needs to be in this bullpen if the Red Sox are going to have success, and this designation for assignment could be exactly what he needs going forward. But this move doesn't only affect Ryan Braiser, it affects the Red Sox in total, and it affects the Red Sox in ways that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about. And what I mean by that is this sends a message. It sends a message to everyone in that bullpen right now who maybe isn't performing the way that we need them to perform, that hey, if you've got options, the Red Sox right now aren't afraid to shake things up to the point where we're winning ball games. And you guys, if you're not pitching your balls off, could be one of them. Right now, the Red Sox have also decided that they're going to put their faith in 2 young bullpen arms. And the 2 young bullpen arms I'm talking about are John Schreiber and Tyler Danish, who for the most part have been up and down for these injuries like Wacha and Hill and COVID related issues like Tanner Houck. That's when we've seen Schreiber and Danish the most, but it appears as though they are going to be on this squad full time going forward. And this is really exciting, especially with John Schreiber, who I've been advocating to come up and be a fixture in this bullpen since his first appearance in Toronto. I love the way that this guy pitches. He pitches with a lot of intensity. He's got that funky delivery that right-handed pitchers have a really hard time picking up on, and he can get lefties out too. In fact, I would be pretty open to having John Schreiber take a look at that closer role, because right now John Schreiber and Matt Strahm are the 2 guys in this bullpen that I trust the most, and it appears as though the Red Sox do too. Alex Cora definitely does. He's been putting John Schreiber into big innings since he got up here, and I think he's outperformed what everyone was expecting. So the fact that the Red Sox have decided that hey, if a guy isn't performing, regardless of whether or not he's been a staple in this bullpen bullpen before. We need to make room for guys who can definitely do it is for sure a message to the rest of this team, whether it's the bullpen, whether it's guys on the bench, whether it's whoever. They know that, hey, if we don't play to our max potential, there's a possibility that there's someone waiting in the wings to take over that position. All in all, I think this is one of the smartest moves the Red Sox have made this year. Again, as much as I love Braiser, whether he has some mental issues going on or whether it is a physical, mechanical issue, he just simply wasn't the same pitcher that we've seen in the past. This could be exactly what Braiser needs, like I've said. And on top of that, it allows for young guys in the bullpen to gain some confidence, right? Hey, we trust you right now a lot, to the point where we're willing to take some veterans out of that bullpen to make room for you, to ensure that you are the guy that we need going forward. Let me know what your thoughts are on this Ryan Braiser move down below. What do you think of this move? Do you think it was a good move, a bad move? Who do you like in this pen right now? Because right now my list is pretty short. It's Tanner Houck, Matt Strahm, and John Schreiber. But let me know, is there a guy in there I'm missing? Who do you trust in this bullpen to get big league outs? Let me know all your thoughts on this topic down below. As always, if you've made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on these videos as well. Like I said in the beginning, it is the best way to help this channel out, and it means a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the next one.